Previously on The Price of Fame. As most of you have noticed, last week I had the opportunity to speak to Miss International SA, but my interview was cut short, unfortunately, by load shedding. So she's agreed to come back to The Price of Fame to complete the interview, and we have her here today. We're not going to get into all the craziness, we'll get straight into it. So, ladies and gents, please welcome to the screen Miss Ferini Dayal. Hey, welcome back.
Thank you.
How are you, how are you doing today?
Well, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, and I'm super excited. And I was so crushed, but actually, the like in our house, the most crushed person about our interview cutting so short was my father. I was like, oh my word, he was really actually enjoyed the interview so much, and it's like when's it happening again? You need to get it back. And I was like, no, we are planning. We're just trying to be see, obviously for a perfect time to coordinate it. So yeah, I'm sure he's happy that I'm being able to finish the interview with you. And I'm sure it must have been weird for you just to see me going to the dark. I mean, what was your thoughts at first?
Hello. What's going on?
Shame. I mean, like, I would be like, okay. Did you complete the question?
What on earth's happening?
Shame. It was hilarious. Yeah. That was hilarious. I was so disappointed and
Get on.
apologies. Could I get that back? I'm sorry, I didn't get the first part of what you said.
We should have just lit some candles.
That's what my father actually suggested. He's like, he came upstairs because he was streaming live, and then he came upstairs and he's like, he came with a little light, and then he came with some candles. He's like, can it still work? I was like, no, it's not gonna be the same, shame. But it just shows that people really enjoyed you and enjoyed the episode. So I'm excited to get back into it. Yeah, we're just gonna do another 30 minutes. We're not gonna keep you too long. And also, yeah, so you can also continue with your beautiful day and get some rest if you can.
I'm happy. Yeah.
So, so let's speak about Miss International. Tell us a little about because I have no idea how these things happen. On TV, they're obviously on TV when they show these competitions, they cut out a lot that happens. Behind the scenes, preparation, and all of that. Could you describe what is a typical experience of entering Miss International? And actually, what's required of you once you win like the position?
Sure. So I entered last year. I think it was around September. And the crowning only happened in December. So during that period of time, there was an interview round which happened. There was also obviously submission of our criteria in terms of our entry form. And from that, it was brought down from, I think, 100 and something odd girls to about 50 of us. And then we had an interview round where we were obviously questioned and asked what we want to do with this position, what we want to achieve, who we are, just a little bit to get to know us. And then
Yeah.
they also asked us if we were involved in the community and what we did for the community. And it went on to basically a weekend in December. The competition was held in Empress Palace. I was crowned on the 12th of December. And from then it was just, a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Just a lot of exciting emotion and just a lot of preparation going on from there. The one thing that was really important to me was just to continue my charity work, my philanthropy. So I've
Yeah.
just, and then with preparation for International, it's in December in Japan this year. So there's delegates from all around the world. I think we're around 80 women that go and compete in Japan. And it's one of the oldest competitions ever held in Japan and in the world. And it's one of the largest pageants. So it's the top 3 pageants after Miss Universe and Miss World is Miss International. And we just go there and we compete and everyone from around the world meet all the delegates, see what they're doing. So it's really exciting.
Wow, that's really cool. I mean, it sounds like a lot of moving around and a lot of things like that. When you win the competition, like, do you get like what are the prizes like? Because obviously I know it continues from here. You have to go to the international one, but what are the prizes that you win on the spot? For winning Miss International SA?
So I won a cash prize, and then additionally I won a prize for my gown. So basically a sponsorship for my gown to go overseas, and then I won 15,000 rand towards my gown, 10,000 rand towards daily outfits because I'll be in Japan for 2 weeks. And then all my flights are paid for, my accommodations paid for to go to Japan, and my entry fee for the actual competitions paid for. Then I got spa vouchers, nail vouchers, lots of fun, exciting, pampering vouchers, which was quite nice. And yeah, I think that was about it.
And like, is there some kind of expectations now that, or some responsibilities that you have to do as Miss International leading up from now up until yeah, it's December, right? When you're going to Japan. Is there any
Yeah.
kind of like things that you have to do like every week? You have to do something like this, or you have to have a charity, 3 charities that you donate to. What are the expectations of Miss International SA?
So there's no definitive obligations, but obviously I have to be a representative of South Africa. If I'm expected to be at certain events hosted by the Miss International organization, I have to be there. I have to be active on my social media and obviously endorsing what I speak about and what I do just in my daily life. From my perspective, I think because I already had philanthropy and charity projects going forward, so for me, that wasn't really an obligation of the organization. I just had to continue what I was already doing. So for me, I've just been able to actually speak out on a bigger platform, which was great, and get more people involved in my charities through Miss International, which has been amazing. So many beautiful kids and moms and dads, and everyone has gotten so much more since I've won, which is amazing. And then just in terms of obligations, it's depending on what the organization actually creates, and in terms of events, they do have other events happening. I get asked to judge a lot of pageants, so I'm currently going to judge on the 1st or the 2nd of July in Pretoria. So I have to be present at my events and be a representation of South Africa.
Lovely stuff. I love that. Could you give us a description of a behind the scenes typical day in the pageant? And how long do these pageants last? Is it like over like a week, over 2 weeks, And could you describe like a typical day? Like you wake up in the morning, first thing, and then like up until the moment where you're doing the thing, and the lights and in front of the judges. What is that like?
Okay, so I'll describe what happened in December. So we had the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Basically, our Friday was preparation. Saturday, we were at Empress Palace from the morning. We had workshops, which were really amazing. So we met very powerful women, CEOs, and we had a fitness workshop where they taught us about dietetics and basically about nutrition and how to work out best for and suited for your body. And then we also just had speakers, and we had a modeling coach come through to teach us how to represent yourself, how to walk, what's important, which is really nice. And then those workshops were, I think, probably the whole day. We had quite a lot of workshops, and then we had rehearsals that Saturday, and obviously lunch in between, and we were chatting to all the girls. And it's also nice to just indulge and have some time to meet everyone. So we did that. And then Sunday was basically just preparation for the show. So we did rehearsal after rehearsal after rehearsal. And then our show started promptly at 1 o'clock. And then it's chaotic. So behind the scenes are very chaotic because you're doing makeup, you're doing hair, there's just girls everywhere. Everyone's trying to find where their clothes are. Everyone's throwing this, and you just see clothes flying. It's very exciting. I think it also takes the nerves away because there's just so much happening. And before you know it, you're just on stage. I just remember so vaguely walking out and changing and just trying to change my hair and changing my makeup. And the next thing I was answering the question before I knew it, I was being crowned. So but it's so much fun.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, like, what are the most, like nerve-wracking moments of the whole thing? Is it the actual walk on the runway? Because we have to do the whole walk thing. Because like my partner and I, and we have a good time when we feel like having a good laugh. We go on YouTube and sometimes we will look at the runway fails. and we see when the ankles go poop, 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 on side to side. Have you ever experienced anything like that, or that ever happened to you, where your ankles, they buckle as you walk down? Have you ever
Don't
experienced a show like that?
thought for me. I'm touching wood right now. No, thankfully that has not happened to me, but it's definitely nerve-wracking, especially when there's stairs on the runway. So I remember I had new shoes and I didn't wear them before, and I wore them for the first time and practiced in them just once before I went on stage for swimwear. And all I could think of was don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, which I'm sure so many girls who are on stage think of. But I think once you're in that moment and you just feel the crowd and everyone screaming and cheering for you, it's a different experience. It's like it felt when I was in my gown, it just honestly felt like I was floating. It was beautiful. It was amazing. But it's always in the back of my mind, just don't trip, look where you're walking, don't trip on someone else, don't trip on your dress. But I think it comes to you, the more that you in the industry, the more that you on stage, the more comfortable you feel. And also if you're comfortable in what you wear, I think you portray what you feel. And that day I just felt confident and it worked for me.
Yeah. No, well, I'm also wishing you a lot of good luck. I don't ever wish that to ever happen to you because I want you to be on your best. But yeah, it's so hilarious when we watch it. And I always wonder, like, is it because they maybe not used to heels, or is it that heel specifically, Because I'm like, what causes that to happen, And I feel like, and this is just me being a typical ignorant man, but I feel like all females are trained in walking heels, I feel like any female can just put on some heels and then just kill it, and know how to do whatever. But wow, and heels for you, is it something that you enjoy, or is it just something that you wear when you have to?
So I'm generally the sneaker kind of girl. You'll
Yeah.
always find a sneaker, especially obviously because of the work that I'm doing. I'm running between wards and hospitals and ED. But I love a good pair of heels. I love them. If you had to look in my shoe cupboard, you'll see. I don't really get to wear them as often. So when I do get to wear them, I make sure that I wear them well. So I think we fierce when we are in them, and it makes us feel confident and beautiful. But I'm definitely a sneaker girl.
Yeah, no, yeah. Because I mean, my partner wears heels too, and I don't get it because she can't wear it for a long time. When we go to places, we go and we're enjoying ourselves at an event, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours in, and then she's like, "Yo, I need to sit. These my feet is killing me," and I'm thinking, "Why do you wear these things?" But then it comes that whole thing of suffer for beauty. But with joining Miss Internet, yeah, with joining Miss International, is there a specific criteria that you guys have to fit, when you want to like apply, or can anyone just walk in there, or do you have to like have certain things, certain accolades, or have to be in a certain alignment? What's the criteria?
There's an age limit, and
Okay.
it's between the age of 18 and 27. There's also the fact that you have to be a naturally born female. Other criteria, they used to be a little bit stricter about it, but now it's not so strict anymore. So it's just definitely the age criteria, and other than that, there isn't really much else that I can remember at this moment.
Okay. Interesting, because I feel like most of the females kind of like all nice and tall, slender kind of figure, whatever. But it's interesting to know that anyone can enter when it comes to that kind of things. I'm sure back in the day it was a lot more stricter, where they were looking for one specific kind of look. But now I'm happy to hear, or happy to know, that they celebrate all types of women. That is not just in social media or different kinds of shoots. It's also now coming, that is now being part of the Miss International and Miss SA, well, the whole thing as well, the competition as well. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And like, so what is something that you would consider to be a complete deal breaker, like for the organization to be like, no, she needs to be decrowned? What is something that would really go against your role, and that can get you easily decrowned?
Hmm. This hasn't really crossed my mind because I didn't intend on doing that ever. But um, I think from what I've actually deduced in society, there's been a lot of cyberbullying, especially to girls who are in pageantry. I'm sure we've noticed it across the platforms in South Africa for the past few years. So for me personally, there's a lot of obviously you're amongst a lot of girls and you're competing, I think we just need to remember to be kind, because a lot of girls are very unkind. A lot of people on social media are very unkind, and it's easy to hide behind these platforms that we call our cell phones. So for me, I think cyberbullying, if anyone had to cyberbully or bully any of the contestants, or I had to do that to someone else, I think that would definitely be one of the criteria for decrowning. And in any way, if you represent our country in a false perspective or do anything to misrepresent our country, I think that would be as an event for decrowning as well.
Yeah. And are they, and with being Miss International, it's like a very broad kind of thing that you cover, So working with brands, are they kind of like some brands that you're not allowed to work with, or because you're Miss International, you have to work with, you're like, there's no yes or no. So you could possibly do an alcohol brand, then you could do a HIV and AIDS kind of brand awareness kind of thing. So, or are there any things like that that you feel like as Miss International, it does not necessarily align with with who you are and who you're supposed to be?
For me, it's rare. This is rare. I've been approached by quite a lot of brands, but for me, it's not about just being part of a brand. It's about being part of a brand for me that I've actually, for example, if it's skincare or products or hair care or whatever it might be, it's about actually using the product and advocating for something that has worked for me. Because if I have used it and it has made a difference for me, then I want to share it with everyone else. It's not just about being paid and taking the product and lying about it and saying, oh, this is so wonderful, please use this. So for me, I've made it very clear that whatever I endorse, it's something that I genuinely love and I've built a relationship with. So all the brands that I currently have, I've been with for a while, or they're brands that I actually do use and really do love, because I want to be someone who actually speaks for the people, and I want to be someone who is truthful and transparent. So everything that I do use, yes, I will promote gladly and advocate for. There are specific brands that I think just don't align with what I necessarily do. Um, so yes, in the instance, if I had to get something, for example, if a cigarette company or alcohol had to approach me, obviously as I'm an advocate for health, that's something that I'm against. In certain jurisdictions. So yes, so I think you have to just make sure with brands that it always aligns with who you are and what you're advocating for. For me, it's a little bit different because I'm a doctor as well. So health is really important for me. It's also advocating for my patients, because I don't want to just preach. I want to also do what I'm saying so that others can follow and benefits them too.
I like that. And with your foundation, I believe the last time we spoke, you said there's something that you're looking forward to that's happening in October. Um, we no, we don't have to disclose anything. We don't have to disclose anything. I just want to know, like, with your foundation, what's like the working, especially working with people and giving back. I know it's like a completely I don't I don't know if it culture shock is the word, or it's just like a life. It's like a wake up call, when you deal with people, especially dealing with less fortunate people, and that kind of like gives you a wake up call, and you just reassess your life. And I've learned so much lessons, working with. I used to be a youth facilitator as well. Used to work in an organization called Spades. We worked with high school kids, informal settlement kids as well, and as well as foster care kids. So I learned so much about, just humans, and behavior and just how different people are from different walks of lives. So for you in your foundation, what do you feel like that is like completely a huge lesson that you take away from what you do?
It gets me every time when I go to homes, especially with children, and I see kids that are neglected or abandoned or abused or just left, and no one's there for them. So definitely, yeah, it affects me. And I think I've learned over the years how to not deal with it, but just to make change, which is what I'm doing. And I know that it's tough, and I know what I do, not just in terms of my charity, but in my work, what I do is tough because I deal with domestic violence, I deal with drug abuse, I deal with death. So these things are not just things that I do with my charity, but things that I do every single day. And it actually gives me the opportunity to realize how privileged I am to make a difference. So whenever I get down, or I don't understand why the world is like this, why so many things happen to these kids, or why some people should have so much and some people should have so little, I just remind myself that I was given this opportunity by the universe, by God, whatever you might believe in, to make a difference and to make change. And that's what I need to focus on. I need to make as much change as I can in as many places as I can, and also advocate and teach and educate so that we can make changes throughout the world and throughout South Africa, so that so many people don't have to live through this. It's really tough, and I think especially in the societies and the poverty-stricken areas in our country, especially with regards to trauma, and I see that a lot, and it does affect me. But like I say, if we can all step up and make change together, we can see such a big difference. And I've seen it in my foundation, I see it with my parents, I see it whoever gets involved. So that's what I just focus on.
Mhm. What would you say, like, do you feel like, obviously with your experience working with people and knowing your work, and like when I was working in schools, I could point out a lot of things that I felt was still missing, what the kids need. In your own opinion, what do you feel that is still missing, that in terms of support structures, like do you feel like there should be another organization focusing on a specific task that can help people, or do you feel like there should be more support groups, or do you feel like schools should have XYZ that's going to help kids help assist kids? But what have you picked up in your journey and you feel like there's something missing?
My foundation focuses on a lot of different groups. So for me, it's difficult to say and pinpoint one specific thing, because I work with women, I work with children, I work with gender-based violence, um, people who are affected by abuse. So there's a lot that I can actually pinpoint to say this is missing here. But I think that generally there's a foundation problem. And basically that starts with understanding that we need to first advocate for everyone in South Africa to have good, successful education. And with education, you can build so much more. If our women are educated and they understand that from education they can achieve success, we won't have as many teenage pregnancies. We won't have as many drug use. We won't have as much unemployment. So I feel that there's a huge vicious cycle that keeps affecting everyone. If there's a lack of education, there's a lack of success, there's a lack of unemployment, and basically it tends to become the circle that everyone gets stuck in. And through that, I see a lot of my pediatric cases, a lot of kids that then get abandoned, a lot of kids that end up in homes, a lot of kids that end up without food, without shelter, without protection. So for me, if I had to pinpoint one thing throughout all my charities, all the drives that I've done, it's the fact that I think we should focus on foundation. And through foundation, we can build a strong economy, we can have successful people, we can build and have jobs and have people that are working towards something. And that also creates a sense of sustainability for the people that are in this country, to ensure that poverty is reduced, to ensure that our kids that are coming up in the future are educated, that they're going to university, that they are able to get jobs, that they're able to build up small businesses for others to help with. So that's something I think throughout my time that I could pinpoint where the problem might be.
Absolutely. I love that. I really love that. And I feel like, in some way, when you have a speech, I feel like you should like bring that to a lot of people's attention, that there's still a lot of places where people could help, and reach out, because I think there are people who would like to help. They just don't know how to help or get involved sometimes. So if you could like bring that to everyone's attention, enlighten all of those gaps, those little loopholes that actually could cause things to fail, people, there's a lot of spaces where people could like still fill in those gaps and help out there. So yeah, I don't know, I'm not trying to tell you how to plan your speech here, but I just feel like when you have opportunity to speak to
No,
like spaces, like when you do, I feel like that's an important thing that you should actually bring up with. But yeah, you'll figure out your speeches. Okay, so
Thank
Ferini,
you.
like I said, and I'm gonna keep my promise. I'm only gonna keep you for 30 minutes. So I'm gonna ask you my final question. And this question I ask every single one, and I'm super excited to hear how you are going to answer this one. So for my final question, I have to put you in this time machine, right? And I'm gonna turn it back to a very, very young version of yourself, a very young Ferini, who's maybe just walked into this industry, not knowing where to go, how this is going to turn out, how this is going to play out, especially in a time where you probably needed some advice and guidance. And it's the version of you today, having learned what you've learned, having have your experience and the lessons, and I'm giving you 5 minutes to speak to the younger version of yourself, to give it just some guidance or advice. What would that be?
I'll first start off by saying that I am so incredibly proud of you. You have worked hard, you have been determined, you have not let anyone get you down, and you kept getting up whenever things were difficult, whenever you fell, whenever there was trials and tribulations. And I just want you to know that I'm really proud of you. And I want to tell you that you're brave and you have so much to give the world. And I truly believe that every single person is put on this earth with a specific talent, with a specific purpose. And I want you to know that you're going to find yours and you're going to make changes for so many people. So remember that with everything that you go through. Be proud of who you are, be authentic, be true to yourself, be pure of heart, because I know that your intentions are always true, and keep going. And that's what I would say.
Awesome stuff. I felt like you had it ready, like you had that question ready for you. Like, come on. But yeah, I really love that. And Ferini, thank you so much again for making yourself available to continue this interview. I truly appreciate it. And I'm sure my guests and my father will appreciate it too. So yeah, I'm gonna let you go now. But before I let you go, is there anything that you feel like you would like to share that I maybe didn't touch on, or do you give you the opportunity to share on?
I think you questioned me quite well, but I do want to say that there are platforms that you can follow me on, and definitely if you are willing to help or have the ability to help, be part of any of my charities, any of my drives. I do so many, and it will make such a huge difference to everyone involved. You can follow me on my Instagram at Dr. So Dr. then underscore FDAYL. So it's Dr. F underscore Dial on Instagram, and on Facebook you can find me under Ferini Dayal. And yeah, if you are able to help, or there's any project that you're interested in, or you need someone in your community that I can assist or help, I'd really be willing to. So let's make change together.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much, Ferini. You're an absolute wonderful person, and like that's exactly what my parents were saying. They could like tell by the way that you're speaking. They were like, "No, she's actually a wonderful person." They haven't even met you, but just the way that you're coming across and your energy, it speaks a lot. It really speaks a lot. So thank you so much, and again, I wish you all the best of the luck with the competition in December, going all the way to Japan. I'm glad all expenses are paid, so you don't have to stress about none of those things. So you can just stress about being beautiful and being fabulous. May you have a very successful journey there, and may you bring home the crown and chase everything, change everything. A game changer. Have a lovely day further.
Thank you, Lunga. I really, really enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll be on here with a crown in January.
Absolutely. And all the best of luck with your movement that you are planning, this big movement that you're planning in October. I hope that people really get onto following you so that we can see once you announce where do we fit and how we can help and move forward. So thank you so much. And yeah, may you have a lovely day further, Ferini. Goodbye to you.
Bye.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for those of you who are tuned in, and for those who will be watching the replay at another time. I really appreciate you, all the support and all the love that you guys share. Real quick, you know where to find me on Facebook. You can find me at Lunga Chuka the Energizer Funny. That is Lunga Chuka Energizer Funny. On Instagram, you can find me at Lunga Chuka. For specific and snippets of the price of fame, you can go to the price of fame ZA, the price pardon me, that's the price of fame ZA. And for your other extra streaming pleasures, for the audio streaming, you can check out Apple, Spotify, and Anchor FM. Even when you're at Anchor FM, send us the voice notes. Even me, send me a voice note. Let me know what you think about the show. Let me know who you are. Give us a shout out, whatever you want to say. If it's user friendly, we will play during the show. But that's it for me, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is The Price of Fame.